What is up, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, day traders, cloud swing traders? Hope you guys are doing absolutely fantastic. Hope you guys are feeling good. We got Al in the house. Good morning to you. Good morning to Amy, Andy, Bill, Cheryl, Cindy, D. Georgie is in the house. Good morning to you. Good morning to Jared, Jeff, Jeffrey. Good morning to Keith, Kevin, Lauren, Malik, Marius, Martina, Ray, Rob, Shane, Tim. You guys are piling in today. Bright and early, Virginia. Good morning to you. Good morning to Wendy. All my people out in YouTube land. I think, yeah, Mustafa is the first one today. Good morning to you. Good morning to M Sky, Diana, Alfred, Diana. Good morning. We got Jennifer. All my larkers in the backgrounds. They're just not gonna say anything all day. That's okay. I still love you. Hit that like and subscribe buttons, and we'll see. We'll see what the market has going on today. We had some consumer sentiment numbers. Not a huge deal for the market today, but more importantly, look at that candle that we threw in yesterday. We were we were pretty good at kind of calling the bottom on that one. We're like, man, we cannot lose this level. This 607.02. Otherwise, we have a little bit more selling, $3, something like that. A little bit further, and that wouldn't be as good. But now the market SPY just gonna do what the SPY does. Throws in a little bit of a hammer. Pretty decent closing spot. So not out of the woods yet, but really good support at 609.77. And we got to get through that resistance. Somewhere up at 612.09. So get above yesterday's candle. Not crazy volume. We had a little bit of volume coming in on yesterday's candle. More volume than the last 3 days, but kind of hanging out. It's a short week, but it feels long this week. It feels like the market has just been just dragging along this last 3 days. So we'll see if we get any crazy action today. Otherwise, yeah, we got to break that 612. Obviously, the high of yesterday, and then we could get through that VPOC, and we're off the races. But still some bullish buying. Bulls trying to come in. We will see. We got, and I'm on one screen today, so I'll be kind of flipping back and forth to you guys on YouTube. So anybody that has tickers, let me know. But first one I got is Palantir. Yeah, also trying to hang in there. Decent, decent, okay, kind of close. If it closed a little bit, I like the opening a lot better than the close yesterday. But at least we stayed above this 101.36. We were below it at one point. Bulls realized, wait, hold on. This is 2 days in a row of Palantir selling. That just can't happen. So they bought it right back up. Good reversal. Decent looking hammer again for a bullish break. Be better if it was red. Technically, this is a retest gap from yesterday. But I don't think I really want a full retest on this one. I think you're gonna want to try to hold somewhere around this 107.47 zone. Plenty of room to the higher side. You have back to 113.79. So even for a day trade purpose, I think we do have to keep this one on the list for today. Let me see if I make sure I got that one decently high, but I think a contender for a small pullback, maybe high wave candle ish, and that would get us $6, $7 until and then obviously we start breaking that. The next level probably 115.32, and then maybe back to 117. And I wouldn't even put all-time highs past it for today just because it is Palantir. But I don't know. For right now, I have to target that 113 zone. Otherwise, looks good. Coinbase got a good deal today. So SEC dropped a case against them. They have a little bit of a rally. You got 5% move. Depending on where this one opens, that is a good gap and go. Bigger targets for the day. I think we get to like 277.69. I don't know if I want to go bullish at open though. If we could hang into this level, if we could open somewhere above 269, 269.10, I would be a little bit more intrigued to try to run this thing up bullish. I've got one spot over here, 273.89. Maybe we get held there. It's not really the best resistance, but it is there. And it is also right before the 20 and the 50 EMA. So maybe there's a little pressure somewhere close to that, we'll call 274 zone. But I like the room on this one. If this one opens anywhere below 269, I'd be patient. Maybe you could scoop it off of like 267.11, something to that extent. But pretty fairly good gap and go. Where's this candle volume? That candle volume, if we could get there, I think even on a longer term, I don't know if we get there today, but you'd be looking for like 278.10, something to that effect. Not bad. So Coinbase, good news. UNH, not great news. The DOJ steps in on UNH and opens an investigation. I think the investigation's on UNH, but I think every healthcare company, I think even CVS, let's take a look at that one real quick. CVS, and we'll come back. Nope, CVS. Just because CVS has that health insure portion of the business. But anything health insurance wise, under a little bit of pressure today. That is holding one little support. I don't love that support. I think we probably end up breaking. I think at least coming down to 59.93. If not, you might have a decent sell off on CVS, UNH. So maybe a little sympathy on that one. Otherwise, UNH, that's a big drop. That's a big old drop. At some point, I wouldn't mind buying UNH for the long term. I don't know if today's the day though. Mm-mm-mm. Uh, and we got the line in the sand on this one, 438.10. So we are into some level of support. We're not too far away. It is a big gap down. Is this a did we sell off yesterday? Is it a retracement? We've kind of been selling last few days. I think this is actually going to be a buy the dip. You got earnings coming in. At least you have good risk reward to a bullish side of things. But again, who knows what that investigation is? Well, I do. It's about insurance premiums. Uh, we got till April 22nd, so we have a decent amount of time until the next earnings come out. Let's flip this thing to a weekly, see if there's anything. There's not a lot really holding us back besides that one last pivot. That wasn't the CEO pivot, was it? The Luigi pivot. I think this thing could get down to not today, I don't think so, but I think you get down to that's probably where I'll be looking, somewhere in the 409, 407 zone. Strong company. Um, Pretty good divvies, if anyone's interested. Not really a lot holding us back at this point or holding us up, except for one little pivot. I'll watch it. I kind of think for today, it's probably a little tough to go bearish on it at this point, and you do have some level of a little bit of retest gap. I think I would like to try it long for today. I think ultimately, though, you probably get down to this 407 zone. Not bad. Not bad. We'll definitely keep that one on the watch list as well. We got Tesla. Look at that weekly Doge that we did last week. Look at that high wave this week. We'll see where this one ends, what this candle looks like at the end of today. Otherwise, it's just hanging out. Yep. Decent location for open. Not bad. Again, I was gonna have the alert set for 344.99. We got close to it, didn't quite hit it. We're still above the 100 EMA for today. Pretty much opening right where we closed, so nothing. I don't think we have too much crazy good sentiment. I think you do have a little bit more room. Risk reward. There's probably better stocks out there to trade for today. A lot of this, I think, is just inside day. But you do have, I think, at least a little bit risk reward to a bull side. You got 352.95. Should be where we hold. If we start to break it, maybe we hit that 344.99 today. And then if we do hit 344.99, we do have the ability to hit like 334, and that's got to be a spot that we really have to hold for the bulls. To the higher side, you have some resistance, 359.08, and then I think a big one is going to be this 362.15 zone. So I don't know if we have a lot of range on it today. I think I'd be focusing elsewhere on stocks, but Out of the gate, maybe a small high wave candle. If you could get a tighter setup in there somewhere, I'm not sure that you could, but probably would put a little edge to the bulls and just see if we could just hang around and chop in this one. We might need next week for some kind of a breakout. The weekly looks interesting though. The weekly for sure. Good doji candle, another little inside resting candle. Slight little bull trap in this one too, but just chilling for now. We got Google, the Googs, the Googs. On daily perspective, that's an interesting little open to this one. A decent amount of consolidation. This volume candle is all the way up here. Longer term targets probably would take you to a bullish direction like 190. So that's $5 higher side. I don't think we hit that today. Still really in this consolidation, you are at the higher end. I do like the location we're opening at. So as long as we could, even again, small little pullback on this one, hangs out above 185.18. You probably have some room up to this one to 186.52. If you can break that, you have a really good trade. That would get you, I don't see anything else really holding you back to about 189.10 for today if it really wants to run wild. I don't know that we see that today. Again, I don't really know if the market has a lot of momentum today, just going into a weekend. But if we could break outside of that consolidation, this kind of almost looks a little bear flaggish as well. So we're doing something like this, and then if we actually break out northbound as opposed to breaking down, that's a strong bounce sentiment from it. All holding into this 100 EMA as well. Not bad. But you probably have a couple dollars in a bullish direction if we could open here. Again, I'd probably want to be a little patient at open. Let's get this one higher on the list though. But I'd say yeah, I think it's a contender for a good high wave candle open, small pullback. Look for that break of the opening candle type setup. Dell, DELL. Usually this one's quite the mess. Today it looks a little like that, well, not quite the same daily setup, but I like this location. A little bit of a red candle. Obviously, some bulls stepped in yesterday, held the higher volume zone perfectly, 116.68, so we're above that. Next immediate target, I think we'd be looking for like this 123.21, so that would get you about $2 to the higher side, which is okay. You could break through that though. I think you got 124.25, and I think that would be your trade. So if you think you could get to this 124.25, that should get you enough risk to reward. Let's put this on the list. There could be a decent, at least Google and Delta. So I still want to see a small pullback. The closer I could get to like 120.27, I think that increases our risk to reward on this trade. So give me a small little pullback on this one. Otherwise, that looks like a sneaky little hammer, and we might be able to break on that one. Coin we did look at DRM. Did you mean ARM or is DRM one? Dream Unlimited? Why do I think that's supposed to be ARM? Do we have a gap somewhere? Yeah. No, I don't know. Nothing really crazy. I don't know how much volume this one has. Does you run again? Uh, if it is DRM, I don't see much. We've been consolidating since January 30th. Been in this range. Looks like we're opening right where we closed for now. Earnings around the corner on this one. Probably a little bit more continuation to the downside on this one to 21.36. Let's check out ARM just in case there was a typo. And we do have a lot of lines on this one. So let's take some of those off. Mm, Whole bunch of lines. And then ARM kind of looks the same as DRM, whichever way you go. They kind of look the same. At least with ARM, you are above yesterday's support. It's not bad. On a daily perspective of things, the opening price yesterday, not great. Still hanging above the 100. Very close, if not opening slightly above the 50 at this point. So not bad. You have room to the higher side. I would say probably 153.30. That is a VPOC from January 30th. Actually, the same as DRM. Very odd how these things are just kind of aligning. But and then it's also your opening price for tomorrow. So I from yesterday. So I think probably this 153.22 would be your target in bullish direction. Otherwise, inside day as well, and you probably get a little chop on this one. Square. Sydney says, "Is my messages showing up?" They are. Yeah. You really want to see square a possible fade, square a possible fade, square a possible fade. Yep, it is there. It is true. And then Jeff, make sure he's read through that into the chat just to double check. And XYZ is the ticker of Square, which is also now Block. It was SQ at one point. These guys, they changed their name. I don't know. I feel like they're trying to hide from somebody. Like they just have a different alias for every single day. I don't even think they changed this ticker with like a warning. They just one day just woke up and was like, we're XYZ today. I'm like, all right. But do we get a fade today? So they did have earnings come out last night. They missed by 19 cents, 19% earnings per share. They missed by 262 million in revenue. You really have your higher volume zone down at 65.03. So the question was, and I forget the question because it wasn't asked enough, but is this a fade for today? Uh, Not yet. I don't think so. I don't think so. Not until I think if you're going to take a stab at this one for the fade, I do want to see a drop of another roughly $2, get me down to 72.08. Maybe let's see if we got there after hours. We didn't. Yeah. Um, the other thing I would look for on this one, if it doesn't reach the $72, 72.08, and that's really, I think, where I'd want the stock to come to. You have a little level of support down here, somewhere around 74.27 is essentially where we're at now. And right now we're actually below that. If we can start climbing above it, maybe there's a shot. I don't think we get the full on recovery back to like $83. That would take me to where the next spot is. If you're trying to play a fade on this one, I think you have 75.81 is going to be decent resistance, and then stretch goal maybe 77.60. But I think if I'm going to take a shot on the fade, I do want this thing a little bit lower. So I'm not going to look for the fade on this one. I'm going to let it just do its thing. And if it does drop, maybe there will be a chance for the fade, but I don't think I'm going to take this one at open. I think it's a little bit of a pretty devastating gap. You are taking out a lot of decent bullish candles. And then this one had high volume on it. You have good support, and then get me as close as possible to that, I think, for my potential fade. All right. Does you run again? America runs on Dunkin. Let's see. Looks like it. That is one heck of an open. I don't know. You are getting above that previous pivot. Obviously, we ran yesterday. Strong breakout candle. The only thing that might keep me back is that little volume candle right around here, right where we're opening to. If we could get above 29.30, I think. Next immediate just on the volume basis is 29.98, so essentially $30 psychological hold number. If we get through that, you get 31.40 for today. But it looks like on a swing trade basis, it's a runner, but this is definitely opening into a little bit of just volume resistance. You had a runner yesterday. You've got your VPOC, so I probably would want to see a little consolidation, maybe pullback. But that is a heck of a pivot to break out of. Even yesterday's close was quite fantastic, getting above the previous really pivot, not out of the pivot, but above the VPOCs on it. So I don't know. I don't know. That looks interesting. I would actually, you know what? I would actually even go high wave candle on this one too. Indecision at high volume, and then something you could take the break of an opening candle. The problem is that $30 mark might get a little sticky, but Yeah, quite the gap. Good follow through so far. I think that's gonna be a fun one at least to watch. We got Baba. Never heard of it. What is this Baba, Peter? This is a new one. This is a new stock for me. I'm not sure. We're above the 140, so that's strong. I think you got a mini little tiny gap fill up to like 151, and then yeah, back to this 160, 157. I'm in it, so I'm just gonna hope that it goes bullish forever. Even yesterday's red candle was just a little too much for me. Inside day, I don't obviously I think the high of the day is going to be your first resistance. That's not going to give us too much. It's going to give us about $2.36 from where we're apparently looking to open. Inside day, I'd usually see if we can get some kind of a pullback. Good open though, above yesterday's VPOC. So I think the closer you get to about 138 would be your spot to look for a bounce. Otherwise, really good volume. If that candle breaks, yeah, there's continuation, and we do have some levels a little bit higher, but at least at open, maybe we get just slightly better pricing if you're trying to play that one. But good follow through, and I do like the fact that the Bulls are able to get this thing above 140 at open is impressive. Cindy says it wasn't showing on your screen. That happens to me on YouTube sometimes. Yeah, I'll type in my own chat when I'm talking, and then just nobody sees it, or everyone ignores me. They play the hide and seek with me. I don't know. If we go bearish, hymns is in trouble. Let's see, hymns. Hymns is already in trouble. Yeah, I don't think they need the market to go. I don't think that huge support on this one though. Huge support, 55.28. I'd be looking for that zone for I don't know. This you're now below a huge volume candle. This is not a great open for hymns, but you do have a little bit of a life-saving flotation device out there in the ocean for hymns, and that is going to be 55.28. If that starts to break, we get candles below it. Then I think you have room down to like 46.40. That gets you into some moving averages, and obviously, absolutely wild stock prior. The other thing that might save us, and this actually might be a really good bounce spot right around 55.28, but you do have earnings coming in February 24th. What is today? So that's probably what, Monday? Mm, yeah. If we have the buy the dippers before earnings, that might be a decent support. So we'll see. Watch that level. That might be your spot to bounce for today. I don't know that the Bulls coming crazy. Target to the higher side about 58.42 on that one. I thought Hims was supposed to stay up. Yeah, but it's a knockoff of just a cheaper version of everything else out there. VBX Dropbox. That don't look good. Mm-mm. Yeah, I wouldn't play the fade on this one unless we magically open up above in the next 5 minutes. We somehow squeeze above 29.46. Then everything I'm about to say is just complete nonsense. But if we were opening where we're at, I would look for a probably quick bounce. The closer you can get to a short on this one to that 29.43, I think that's your spot to short, and you have targets 20 targets again. That's gonna be rough. So I don't think I'd rather look for the square for fade than Dropbox, even though you have a nice red candle from yesterday. But I don't know that I'll go short on this one either. I think you got 29, roughly about $29 is a decent spot. If you get some crazier selling from that point, you're below that volume candle. Longer term, I don't know, maybe you get into like this 25.76 zone, but that's going to take a while. I don't think we get that today or even next week or two, unless some craziness happens. Kind of a tight range on it, but I wouldn't go along on this one. I wouldn't play the fade for me personally. I like it a little bit more bearish, but there might not be enough room to actually have a decent trade. Airbnb, just hanging out. The other one I think reported last night was Booking. Did they not? So yeah, you had Bookings report. They actually killed it. Up 15% earnings per share. They also beat by 290 million. So good gap on Booking. Again, maybe a little resistance up there, but fairly good gap. Maybe you get some continuation there. I think Airbnb would be a sympathy to it. You hung in. You're trying to hang in there on this. You're still in this gap. Good bounce yesterday. Good open today. We're decent open. Resistance on this one probably about this 154.78 zone. Um, Inside candle, not a lot of edge, but I think your better shot is if you get a retest of yesterday's VPOC. So if you get down to like this 153.22, maybe you get some support, and the fact that Booking is going uh quite crazy today, you might have a decent trade at that point. But I think it's in a no touch zone for right at open. But I think that I do like that sympathy from Booking. That should help Airbnb, I think, today. Uh, let's see, Celsius. Yeah. Oh no, I'm annoyed at Celsius. I was gonna buy this thing on the after hours dip yesterday. I don't know what was going on with their earnings report. Like it was delayed or something, but they bought what's the company called? Alohi? I don't know. They spent about 40% of their market cap on this company. They spent $1.5 billion, which I knew investors were going to hate. They were not going to love that because you're spending money. And I was like, man, I kind of like that deal for Celsius. So it got down to $23, but I was in the car driving and I was like, I'll just wait. And then by the time I got to my destination, it was already at like $32. So I was like, dang, very annoyed. Um, Good gap on this one. Earnings, I don't think were that crazy. Yeah, so missed earnings per share only by like we'll round up, I guess, to 200%. And they did beat by 6 million. And then they also spent 1.5 million, but it's got a good short float. This is a retail favorite stock. You could tell this one had some momentum when we were close to $100. Uh, the volume's behind us now. That should all give us support. If it comes down, I'm going to probably, I don't know, maybe we could find a day trade in here, but I wouldn't mind selling some puts on a pullback. But that pullback would have to get at least to $30. But really, really good gap. Not really, if you go a little bit more, there's not much holding us back to like 39.67. I think you're going to have a decent squeeze on it, or potential squeeze at least. So give me a pullback. Let's see what happens. And I think you'll have a lot of eyeballs on Celsius today. So a lot of momentum if we can find some decent candles. Uh, did some news just come in? Selling all over the place. Was it on SPY or just in general? It's also Friday. You have some options. A little bit of a red candle. Yeah, I don't know. But everybody in YouTube land, that is the morning opening bell. So again, it is only a 4-day week, so don't expect the fifth day from me. I'm in the union. But it is a short week, although it does feel long. The market's kind of just chopping sideways. Other than that, you guys are incredible, and I will catch you guys later. Later, guys.